Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays Abiding by AFTERBIRTH Plus. Hit me with a random. I'm ready. It's a front half random. Oh, long time no see. So Judas very easily could end my confidence. However, FYPR NQ8H. Judas is also one of the stronger characters in the game. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, dude. Like, probably not that many people are concerned with the way that, you know, Isaac looks in general at this point, but the stuttering animations is like, has my brain gotten to the level where I process things so quickly that these look wrong but are the same? Or is the game having some issues here? I reboot constantly these days. I got nothing open in the background that could be causing problems. Wow, that's an amazing get, dude. 2% of my CPU is being used right now, and I doubt this is a big old video card problem, but I mean, at the end of the day, nobody knows. And, you know, I don't want to be rude to indie game devs, because it's just, you know, it's the difference that you get in, like, an economy of scale, almost. Just because an indie game might look a little bit less complex from a texture, you know, camera, frame rate, etc. standpoint, it doesn't necessarily mean it's destined to run better for a multitude of different reasons. I think we'll just pop this right away. Dude, we've gotten so much HP. Like, this is an absurd start to a run. Tech X, and oh my god, all this HP is absurd. I immediately hurt myself, but honestly, it's a small price to pay. Mind you, we didn't have to pay it, so it's weirding me out. You know what? I shouldn't have to get to this level. Let me close some stuff in the background. I know I said I've closed everything that, like, should have been closed, but you can always close a little bit more. Like, here's the thing. Maybe there's been a Google Chrome update, or perhaps a File Explorer update, or perhaps, you know, I'm looking at my desktop right now, and I can tell you just from walking for a second, it hasn't sorted it out. So, dude, it beats me. I closed Chrome. Obviously, everybody knows Chrome's a resource hog, but, like, you know, I've also had it open in the background for probably like 90% of the Isaac episodes I've ever recorded. So, it's more like what's changed. I hate to say it. I wonder if it could be a hard drive related issue. Maybe one of my hard drives is getting a little close to giving up the ghost. It's not that big of a deal. You know, hard drives are cheap. Just back up your data. Anyway, who cares? We're gonna sort it out. Either way. Today's a Thursday. Thursday's a busy day. You might remember from yesterday's episode, one of yesterday's episodes. I can't remember if I recorded more than one yesterday. I actually think we just don't want it, but that's incredible. I was like, I didn't really get that much sleep. I had the dreaded curse last night. The curse of last night was sleepless. This night, there's a little bit more pressure on you to get to sleep. You know, you're sitting there in bed, you're like, oh, I don't know, what if I have 2 sleepless nights? That's gonna be pretty bad. And then, went out like a freaking light. Slept for 9 hours, it was beautiful. Had one of the strangest dreams I've ever had in my entire life. I was living in Tirana, but instead of having like a subway system, they had a series of underground canals. So like instead, imagine a subway car, but instead of being a subway, it's like a huge snake-like boat that's piloted by, you know, a train conductor. Everybody hops on and then they use the canals to get you from place to place. But then, because of the fact that, you know, it's a canal system, people would, like, bring their own jet skis and stuff and just jump in there. And they'd be like, I'm not waiting around for a stinky train. I'm taking myself to where I need to go. Anyway, it's not really a good conceit for a movie. The town where they use canals, also known, I guess, as Venice. Except, I want to point out, these were subterranean canals. However, you could see that as being something they would have as a world-building element in another movie or book or, you know, anime or whatever. They'd be like, oh, in Neo-Toronto, they don't use the subway anymore because there's no electricity ever since the event. So instead, they paddle boats through the flooded subway tunnels to get where they need to go within the city. Just a strange dream. But I always love an entertaining dream, you know? Nightmarish dreams, not so much. But when you wake up from a dream and you're like, you know what? You kept me entertained while I was sleeping. I appreciate that. I mean, how could you not? It's like you get to sleep and watch a movie that makes no sense simultaneously. I will say, like, with 95% certainty already, I think this is one of the easiest wins we've had in, like, a month. Everything is just going according to plan right now. We got Magic Mush, i.e. great stats, tons of HP, a lead on potentially becoming Guppy, and Tech X. Essentially, at this point, I could be killed. The only thing that can kill me is like taking an absurd amount of bad damage. However, the only way that's going to happen is if my game starts to play at a reasonable non-hitchy frame rate. Because every time it hitches, I get another 4 cerebral clock cycles to actually look at where the bullets are going, and thus pre-program an action into my brain to put me into a position where I can actually have the highest chance possible to dodge. Yo, this feels amazing right now. Double value item rooms early on. Usually, at least recently, we've been getting that item like on the second to last shop in the game. Hold on, just raising my arms here. So more ergonomic setup. Feeling good. Gotta, you know, it's a busy work week. I love the summer. I've mentioned this many times. You know, my work week changes a little bit in the summer. You have so much administrative stuff to handle in the first half of the year, namely, like, you know, taxes are the big one. Which, you know, again, I'm not gonna get into it because, you know, I'm sure I'll get into it in 6 months. But you know, when I was like 18, I was like, oh, why is everyone stressed out about taxes? All I do is sign a form that says I made 0 money, and then the government sends me a check for like $750. It's awesome. Adults complain too much. Now that, you know, I'm not making $0, it's a lot more work for one. The actual, like, paying of it doesn't bother me that much, because, like, what are you gonna do? Go to jail? If those are your two options, I think it makes the decision relatively easy. But there's work involved, and then it's always stressful. It's basically like, it's submitting an assignment to the teacher, but the teacher is the Canadian government, and if you do bad on the assignment, they might be like, hey, pay me like a lot of money. So in the summer, it's a little bit, you know, that's what they meant when they said the summertime and the living is easy. But this is the one exception where things get a little busier, because we got PAX coming up. I always forget, PAX sneaks up on me. It's the one convention I still go to annually. For a couple of reasons. One is, you know, I'll just tell you straight up, they probably have no idea who I am. Like, they work with, why not? Much more famous content creators and, like, genuine celebrities and game developers, etc., on a yearly basis. But PAX was like, PAX West was the first convention that ever actually acknowledged me as quote-unquote media. And I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for that, you know? Nowadays, YouTubers, we almost got too legitimate. Because now when there's a YouTuber scandal, it actually hits, like, sometimes mainstream media. Back in 2012, it wasn't like that. I'd email a company and be like, hey, I got, like, you know, a lot of people that watch me play video games. You got a video game coming out. Would it be possible, perhaps, for me to receive a code for this video game so I can play it on my channel and give my thoughts? People were like, what the heck is YouTube? Like, if you worked for a newspaper, we could hook you up. But YouTube? Beats me, brother. Nowadays, things have changed. But PAX was one of the first companies. I was, like, nervous. I sent, well, first Expos, I should say. I sent them, you know, a media request, and I was like, there's no way they're going to confirm this, because, you know, not that many people, like, know what I do. And then they confirmed it, and we're like, here's your media pass. And I was like, yo, this is... We're in the big leagues. not really the big leagues, but the other thing is that it's local. So I got a soft spot for the convention, and it's local. I love going to Seattle because it's like, it's just going to American Vancouver, basically. What's the point of traveling if you're just going to go to the same city you're already in? Well, you know, first off, it's convenient. Secondly, I already like Vancouver, so why, you know, the worst thing to do would be get on an airplane and then travel to a city that's different but worse. You know? Oh, but they eat lobster here, whereas they eat salmon where you're from. Oh, what a strange situation. I don't mean to say any city's worse than Vancouver, better than Vancouver. You know, it really comes down to personal preference a lot of the time. I'm just saying. I like it here, so I like it in Seattle as well. But yeah, PAX sneaks up on you. It's also, it used to be a 3-day thing. And I think 3 days for a convention is really the right amount. If you're gonna do the whole thing, at least. I think 3 days is perfect, you know? That means as long as you go hard on one day, you're gonna see most of what you want to see, I think. You know, a 4-day convention, like a 1-day convention is too little, you know? If you're only going for 1 day, you really gotta pick and choose what you're gonna see, which is also probably fine. But, you know, a 3-day convention is pretty sweet. A 4-day convention is too much. Like, you could take a day off from the convention and not even notice it, I think. And I feel bad for the exhibitors, because, like, you know, as an attendee slash media, you know, I've got stuff that I want to do at PAX. I got games that I want to check out. But if I want to show up at the convention at, you know, 1 p.m. one day, I can totally do it. If I want to not show up at the convention at all one day, I could totally do it. If you're an exhibitor and, you know, you paid tens of thousands of dollars maybe to exhibit your video game and you oversleep, nobody's manning your freaking booth. You pretty much got to be there. And then they've extended the hours of the convention by a half hour as well, which doesn't seem like that much, and it's nice for the attendees, but for the non-attendees, for the exhibitors, I'm like, man, this sucks. At the same time, it's more time to show off your game, but everyone is going to be exhausted. It's kind of a first world problem, without a doubt. But it's always nice. I have talked about it ad nauseum, but I don't really like to travel for games events anymore, because, you know, you can just play video games like at home on your computer. So like when a company is like, do you want to fly and check this out? I'm like, how about, like, I appreciate what you got going on, but what if you just like sent me a build and then I played it from the comfort of my own home, and you saved money that you would have spent sending me there, and I saved the opportunity cost of not being able to do my work while I'm gone, and also the time of having to travel.
2 of spades.
But most of the time that doesn't fly. So neither do I. Okay, I'm willing to go pretty deep on this one, because I really want to get a guppy payout if possible. I'm willing to go relatively hard on this one. We definitely should not have blown up that one. Okay, I'm dumb and I'm leaving. If we get a deal with the devil here, that's cool. I don't feel a need to use the Emperor card yet. We could use it to get out of the... Nah, it's not necessary. To get out of the boss rush after we get in there. But anyway, PAX is cool. If you see me at PAX and you want to say hi, don't hesitate to say hi. I will say hello. You can take a photo. You can make fun of me for the pot play, and I'll laugh and pretend to remember what the pot play even is. And it'll be a good time. Because we have 9 volt, we're definitely taking laser beam. The reason I go to PAX now is way less like to check out new games, because again, like, there's new stuff at PAX. There's always new stuff at PAX, but there's always new video games. I know. I love repeating this because it makes people angry, but it's honestly sort of how I feel. Is like, there's only like 20 different video games out there on planet Earth, you know? There's like sports, racing, platforming, you know, consider the basic genres, and then the only variant is like, is good or is bad. And after that, like, yeah, not all games are created equal, but you don't need to play something 3 months in advance of its release. It's not like you're discovering a new element on the periodic table, you know? it's still nice when it comes together. But the main reason I go is to, you know, see people that you only see once every other year, maybe. And then also on top of that, to, you know, well, I mean, it sounds narcissistic, but to be seen. But not to be seen so that it fills my ego, but so that, you know, you take some photos, say hello. You get the idea. SMB superfan, beautiful. I think we screwed the deal with the devil up there. I think we did get a deal with the devil, but I was not paying attention. This is an old-fashioned... No, we didn't, because we have a 100% chance here. This is a good old-fashioned stomp. And I gotta tell you, I'm the happiest man you could ever imagine. After all the somewhat suspect runs that have taken us down recently, and, you know, sometimes definitely have to admit it's my own fault. Sometimes I feel it's a little, you know, the game doesn't hook you up with what you need. This one is really just, you know, I love it when a plan comes together. Let's put it that way. But anyway, Thursday's busier than usual because got to get a backlog going for PAX. And I always bite off more than I can chew, you know? Yeah, sure. Let's add another playthrough to the channel. Dicey Dungeons, what's an extra 7 hours per week? Okay, it's probably not literally 7. What's another 4 hours per week? Well, you know, it's something. It's not gonna break the bank, but, you know. At least it's 4 hours you like, you know? Like, I don't want to sound like I'm... Oh, that's gonna... It did not hurt, because I'm the world's greatest player accidentally. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I think we're fine with the laser beam, honestly. I just don't think we need Mega. I think it might not slow us down. It makes us less maneuverable around spikes and stuff like that, but... I mean, to be honest, I think I'd rather use Shoop the Whoop once per room. Here's the thing, you know? This is why I always... YouTubers... I gotta tell you, okay? If there's any other pro, semi-pro YouTubers watching this, we owe it to our audiences to complain about the duties of the job a little bit less. You know, for a long time, nobody paid any attention to it. You know, at Burnout, trolls, blah, blah, blah. You know, people, they were ignorant to that and then just went, yeah, whatever, you play video games for a living, ha, ha, ha. But now, we complained too much, and there are people out there that are of the belief that we have, like, the hardest job on planet Earth. I gotta tell you, I was watching this documentary on Netflix last night called American Factory. People are, it's a really good documentary, by the way. It's about an old General Motors plant in Ohio that got shut down after the economic crisis of 2008, and then several years later was purchased by a Chinese auto glass manufacturer and then set up to produce like windshields and stuff like that. So it's like an uplifting story at first because all these people get their jobs back, but you know, the culture clash of, you know, working conditions versus American standards as compared to the, you know, Chinese factory standards creates a lot of conflict. And don't spoil it, I haven't quite finished it yet, but things are starting to get a little spicy is all I'm saying. Anyway, people in there, they're working, you know, half of their workday in a room that's literally 200 degrees Fahrenheit, pulling hot windshields out of a, you know, a furnace in order to set the glass. Like, we got burnout's an issue, having to feed the beast is an issue, but, you know, come on. This video, you know, is gonna finish in like half the time expected. I could spend 15 minutes playing Pokemon Go before I have to go do the NLSS now if I want to. I think that's a pretty good perk is all I'm saying. People have started to believe you too much when you complain about the job. But, I don't even remember where I was going with this, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure to finish the bit because we're almost at the end of the episode. Oh, we should have used the key beggar, but whatever. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, no, now I remember what I was saying. Here's the thing. Although working another, you know, let's say 5.5 hours a week to produce another series, you know, is hard. You gotta shuffle some things around. Let's talk about the positives. First off, it's another 5.5 hours a week of playing a video game that you like while talking over top of it. So, you know, it's not like you got an extra 5.5 hours a week of, like, you know, sorting broken glass to ensure that it gets recycled in the proper container. Also taken from American factory. And then on top of that, you know, you get paid more for the work that you're doing because it's not a salaried gig, you know? So I feel like most people out there have an understanding that if their boss was like, hey, do you want to work another 5.5 hours this week? You'll get paid 5.5 hours more. You know, a lot of people would say, yeah, you know, hours are, you know, they're at a premium in a part-time job. You know my perspective on it. YouTubers complain too much. That's the end of the bit. I complain too. There's no doubt about that, but I'm like, man, YouTubers whine a lot. Streamers less so, I think. But I don't know, maybe it's just because the apocalypse hasn't come to Twitch in any form yet, I think, but maybe we're getting there. I'm just saying, I'm in solidarity with the common people. The blue-collar worker. And not just because of the Netflix documentary. But that's a big part of it. Dude, I don't know what to say. The run is ending so much faster than I anticipated. This is not a record. And to be honest with Mega, we actually might have been able to go even faster. But I'm just gonna... You gotta take the dubs when they show up in the dub column, is my personal opinion on this subject. You know, we got an incredible, high-quality assortment of items, and, you know, that's not gonna happen every run. And if anything, I feel like maybe for the first period in my entire Isaac existence, I really believe what I'm about to say. I think I've had consistently below expected variance, like worse than expected variance. So when we get a natty 100 on a D100, I'm taking it. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're asleep by now if you use these to fall asleep. If not, hey, consider watching something else. We got, you know, 5 hours of content coming out daily. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!